Hey everyone, welcome to Evil PC Gaming. My name is Jim, bringing you another Assetto Corsa video, but this time it's about the update that just released today, October 15th. It's the 1.0 RC update that came out. And the update is huge. As you see right now in the video, they added the pit stop. They implemented that into multiplayer races, online races only. They did add some animations, as you see here. I'm trying to get the camera set up during the replay. So you get the animation of changing the tires, though you don't get the animation on anything else with like changing, repairing the body damage and so forth. Speaking of that, they finally implemented physical damage. So you can get aerodynamic damage, engine damage, suspension damage, and tire damage. They did some other improvements on multiplayer. They also put in a new audio engine. And I gotta say, the sounds are fantastic. I mean, they were good before. They are insanely good. I mean, if you listen to the replay here, just the coming and going of the car itself sounds even better than it did before. And on the car note, they did add, I'd say maybe 10, no, maybe 7 cars, something like that. Just a couple of them, the Ferrari 458 GT2, the Ferrari La Ferrari, let me start over. Ferrari La Ferrari. It's kind of a tongue twister. Anyway, I drove that car, and that car is crazy fast, though I forgot to save the replay of it. I'll get one up, continue those videos that I've been doing showing off the cars. They added 4 different Lotus vehicles. They brought the Mercedes AMG SLS GT3 version in. I drove that a little bit, really didn't like it. I don't know, something to get used to. And the car you saw there in the beginning, and you will see more clips here shortly in the video. So far it's becoming one of my favorites sound-wise and stuff, just because it's old vintage American muscle. The Shelby Cobra 427 SC. I believe in-game specs it's like 480 to 500 horsepower. Thing is hard to keep on the road because you don't have any of the ABS or traction control features as some of these newer vehicles have, like the Ferraris and McLarens and so forth. So it is it's a little bit of a challenge to keep it on the track until your tires get warmed up. They also added 3 more tracks. They added Silverstone National, and I might tear up some of these names, so I apologize. Spa Francorchamps. I think that's how you say it. And then Trento Bondone Hill Climb. I haven't tried out those new tracks just yet. I was trying to get some footage here of the actual race stuff. The damage system, I gotta say, which we should see somewhere here in these replay videos and while on board and so forth, it's pretty nice. Now, like, even if you're braking too hard, you'll see which tire is being affected by braking and how bad, start to kind of blink red to let you know you're really throwing some damage into that tire. I was online with Pro when we were racing around, especially in that Ferrari La Ferrari. That thing is crazy fast, and we were kind of racing side by side, and I tell you what, you tap into somebody doing 200 miles an hour, you're definitely going for a couple of spins down the grass. And the damage so far from what I've seen, like I've cracked my driver's side window, my passenger side window, the windshield or windscreen, you may refer to it as that depending on where you're at in the world. What else? I've bent suspension parts to where pretty much I had the wheel cranked almost all the way around to the left, and it would only go right, so I had the hell of a time getting back to the pits on that one. Let's see, what else did they do? Jeez, man, there is so much stuff on the list. And speaking of, I'm going to have the link to the changelog page that is linked to Steam. So if you check the description below, you should be able to click on that and read through everything in case I missed something or didn't go into huge details. Let's see, what else did they do? Audio sample improvements and volume balancing. Like right here on this Lotus 98T, they definitely changed the sounds on that. I noticed when you got going faster, maybe around like 120 miles per hour, 140 miles per hour, somewhere in that window, I guess the wind noise was intense enough to start drowning out the actual throatiness of the engine noise to where you could only hear like the higher pitched turbo. So at first I thought my ears were kind of playing tricks on me, and I was like, what the hell's going on? But after I recognized what exactly was happening and why, it makes perfectly good sense, because, you know, I've been on a you know, sport bike, and once you get up, say 140, 150 miles an hour, you kind of start to drown out that whole engine sound. I mean, yeah, I could still hear my exhaust, but you have that wind whipping across over your head when you're tucked down underneath a windscreen at 150 miles an hour. You kind of don't hear the engine anymore. But anyway, let's continue on. You'll see what I mean if you have the game and you grab that car. I'm guessing it would happen in other open top, like F1 type vehicles when you're going that fast. They balanced the performances for the GT2 and 3 cars, which that did need some tuning. Oh, and you just saw there in the replay, sorry to change that, but they made the items on the track to where you can collide into them now. Now you just don't drive through them. So that's kind of nice too. It adds good effect and ambiance to the game. Let's see, the traction control and ABS factory settings now work properly. So if the car by factory, and of course you have to have your settings like this. I race on the pro settings, and that turns off all your stability controls. Put your tire wear to realistic, your fuel consumption, and so forth. So if the vehicle has traction control from the factory, say, I don't know, one of the Ferraris or the Lotus, you know, in game it will have it. Like this Cobra, no traction control, no ABS. Didn't come with it from the factory, of course. Let's see, the Lotus 49, the Lotus 98T, the Ferrari 312T now have lower default rev limiters. They can go to 100. They can go over 100%, but damage may occur on the higher revs. Now that Lotus 98T, that was already, you took that thing to red line, you were starting to damage the engine. From what I noticed there, you really have to take it to that red line, hold it past there, and hit the rev limiter there for a second or two. And then you start to maybe notice a little bit of damage on the engine. So it can take a little bit more of a beating, as a race car should anyway. And another thing I noticed, especially on the 98T, I tried it on other vehicles, but I wasn't getting the same result necessarily. I tried putting it in gear without pushing the clutch in. And of course, you know, you get the grinding noise and it won't go in gear. And it has damage to the transmission too. I did it like 4 or 5 times and the transmission started turning yellow because I was grinding the gears out of there. They also did improvements on digital instruments for the cockpits for various cars. They added track sound reverb. I kind of noticed that when I was in the pit area. I was honking the horn at Pro. You got kind of that echoing type sound because you were around all the concrete and the walls and so forth. So that was a pretty neat touch too. All the tracks have been improved and updated with collidable objects, as I already said, and you saw there a little bit ago. So far haven't ran over too much stuff. Let's see. Tune wind and tire rolling volumes and curves. They did seem to improve all that stuff. Before, I don't know, sometimes it was too much. They turned the ambience, the crowd volume. They tuned that. It seems to be a little bit more pronounced. But of course you have to be sitting still near the grandstands to hear them and blowing their air horns and stuff like that. So that was kind of neat too. They definitely improved the interior and the exterior gear shift sounds. You know, when you're inside, depending on the vehicle that you're in, you can really hear it kind of, you know, hearing that H shifter clunk into the gear, you know, and just, I don't know, just the raw mechanics of, you know, the metal sound. Let's see, I'm trying to think of what else they did. The damage on the vehicles, pretty good. I think they need some tuning. I've hit the wall, like, kind of on purpose. I don't know, 100 miles an hour. I cracked the windshield, and then I was able to drive away. For some people, that might be cool, but for me, honestly, I didn't like it. If I hit the wall that hard, I want the engine to pretty much drop out of the car. I shouldn't be able to drive away from it. And another one of the big improvements that they did, they added career mode, finally. I didn't get too in-depth into it. I did look at it on the menu. It looks like you start off with, oh, I forgot what the car was. It was the little black hatchback. I haven't even drove the car in the game yet. I haven't got to it. But it looks like you need to progress through and go through the career track and, you know, get into better cars. So I really can't speak for if the career mode is done properly or if I like it, what my 2 cents is on it, because I haven't tried it yet. I do plan on, you know, attempting to try it out, just so I can let you guys know how it is. And of course, I would like to maybe try a career mode in there, because if anything, the career mode is just going to improve my overall driving skills on this game. Now, if you guys don't have the game yet, the driving characteristics of the game, every car is different, feels different, sounds different, shifts different, boosts with turns. I mean, just the developers did an excellent job on the handling of the vehicles. I've said it before, other reviews have said it. Just, I personally think it's amazing. There's no arcade feel whatsoever. Now, I do play the game with a Logitech G27. So depending on the vehicle you're in, you have to go down to the H gate. Like this Cobra, for example, only has 4 speeds. At one point, I was starting to red line up into 4th, and I thought I'd go to 5th. And of course, I did that, and it started revving, you know, just hitting the rev limiter. I thought maybe I missed the gear, came back out to neutral, went back to 5th again, did it again. I looked down, I'm like, oh shit, there's no 5th gear. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else they might have did that you know, might not be in the notes, or that I might have forgot to mention. But all in all, I mean, this game is pretty much, it's still considered early access, even though it's at the 1.0. But it's right there for full release. So the next patch, evidently they're gonna, you know, work out the final small kinks and bugs, in which the only one I've found so far, my Lotus 98T, seemed to have almost, I don't know, was engaging the brakes, I guess you could say. It was shaking, and I kept hearing the tires drag, like I kept hitting the brake and accelerating, and I just kept hearing the tires chirp, and it was shaking kind of badly, and I don't know, it took a little bit to get the control down, and it wasn't like that before, so I'm guessing that's a little bit of a glitch or a bug, and I'm expecting to be fixed in the near future, hopefully with the next patch, especially, you know, with that car, because that is one of my favorite cars in the game so far, because it's hard to control when that turbo kicks in, it's fast, it's an F1 car, it's very fun to drive. So that's well, that's about all I have for you guys. If you have any questions about the game, go ahead and post them down below. And I do plan on bringing you more of the Assetto Corsa, you know, look at each car, how I'm putting them out with pairs of cars. So I did have another one ready, though I didn't have it rendered just yet. So I will redo it now with the new patches and everything in the game, especially with the new sounds and everything that have come along with it, especially since it involved the Lotus 49 and the Lotus 98T. And that's 2 of the cars that got a couple improvements and revamps in the game, especially with the sounds and rev limiters. So as always, guys, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for more videos coming your way. Also, share the love and click the like button and share it with your friends. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time.